everyone, and welcome to Patriot Crusader Missions Christian Warrior Talk, Strength and Honor Edition. It's Friday, and that means one thing. It's Fellowship Friday. It means it's time to grab your favorite beverage, get around your favorite peeps, hop on YouTube, and let's celebrate another week down. Let's celebrate our victories. Let's learn from our defeats. And most of all, let's lock shields around each other and really in true fellowship. All right, in true fellowship. So if you are new to the show, we got people getting on right now. When you hear this,
strength and honor,
we toast. So when you come on, sound off and where you're watching from, and we'll strength and honor you because we want to welcome you to the family. If you'll notice, volume is all the way up so I can't hear you. All right. Does that mean that my volume is blowing you guys out? Or does that mean that baby Anya is screaming? Thank you. Thank you. Have you noticed I have fresh sawdust all over me because I've been working on the project? And if you notice behind here, that wall is not green screen. So we've been working on the sanctuary, and this is one end of the sanctuary where my studio and office is, and opposite this is where we'll call my lectern, but it's not really a lectern. It's an awesome table that I ordered. I couldn't get a lectern made in time, or I couldn't afford one. They were just ridiculous. If it has anything to do with the church, they charge like 10 times the cost. So, hey, Chip, welcome to the family, brother. So here it is. Welcome, Linda. Well, I got a lot of people to catch up on. So again, if you are new to Fellowship Friday, grab your favorite beverage. It doesn't have to be an adult beverage. It can be anything you like. We are all about celebrating life here and our victories and learning from our defeats. And so when you hear this,
strength and honor,
drink your favorite beverage. So let's get into this. First one, as always, Michelle.
Strength and honor, strength and honor.
Brandy.
Strength and honor.
My beautiful wife, an amazing wife, Lauren.
Strength and honor.
And then Linda.
Strength and honor.
And our new friend, Chip.
Strength and honor.
So, as you guys know, Sunday is our big day. We open our new sanctuary here. I'm so excited about it. It's not going to be polished, but it'll be functional and it'll look good and people will see the potential of it. We haven't had a chance yet to make the carriage doors that open out, but I've been in touch with a carpenter. He's going to donate his services as long as I buy the materials and I help him out. So that is a deal from God himself, and we are thankful for that. I also want to send special thanks out to Sky and his father for coming over and helping. I want to thank Reverend Joel Kavanaugh for coming out. He's the one who helped basically laid this floor that I'm sitting on, and helped some with the walls. And I really want to thank Chris Abla, who was here until 1 a.m. getting this wall behind me done. 1 a.m. Hey, Patty, my neighbor Patty down the road. Good to see you. And we're so, I'm so humbled and touched by everyone who's shown up to help out with this project. And, it's going to be amazing to be preaching, in our own space. Granted, it's not, it's going to be pretty cool. While we build our giant sanctuary and compound on our 44 acres. Hey, Danae, welcome.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
Thanks, Danae. And we got that up last night at 1 a.m. And right before this, I just put those little pieces right under the window because that was a custom cut we had to do there. So I'm not a carpenter, but I'm becoming one. So it's been, I've wasted probably more wood than we've used, but hey, it's been an amazingly empowering experience. And oh, I forgot to get Patty.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
But yeah, it's trucking along, and I'm excited to see what God's doing here. You know, we got 44 acres to build on. We really want to build a giant log cabin up on the mountain with its 360-degree views. That'll be like a lodge setting um, for our church, and then use all the farmland around. We've got, you know, we're gonna have grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, pigs. Well, we're gonna see about the pigs, crops, and we'll see where else goes. We also have a shooting range on our property, and a gym, and a combatives MMA gym type place as well. I mean, it's really a unique place, and you know, and as Michelle said, one step at a time. And we're putting first things first, which is Jesus, and it's getting this place up and running, and I can't wait to see what the Lord does with it. So, um, you know, there is a lot going on in the news with the supposedly imminent war. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Danae said, let me put this up on the screen. I used to host this show with my wife right up until she went into labor and had our 2 month old daughter, Anya. And let me tell you something. Um, Anya has been a gut check for us. Um, for Lauren, who's taken the brunt of it, I am amazed. My wife has a tolerance for screaming and an empathy that surpasses my own by far. Children crying goes right through me, and she has been a champion, a a pillar of strength, of calm in the storm of what is baby Anya. And I'm so impressed and humbled, and I stand in awe of her. And she had a really good post where she wished our daughter a happy 2 months old, and she was doing what she does best, which is scream. And I will say that we have been getting a lot more sleep lately. Anya has turned our days into hell instead of our nights, which that's good news in my opinion. Um, so, anyways, I just want to salute Lauren. I miss her as my co-host. I can't wait for her to come back on here, and be a part of this. It was a great post. Um, so we've got some opinions. We have one we have to get with Steve Raleigh.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
So we have some opinions on him. Michelle says there is no war, and then she says it's just a big look over here, so you don't look here. Look over there, so you don't look here. And then Brandy says that war shouldn't be our business. Shouldn't be sending our children. It is rare to see a politician send their children to war. Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I don't want us engaging in that war. I don't want us to send a penny. I want nothing. I want us to pull back and police our own borders. I want us to put our people first. I want to get out of the over 30 trillion in debt that we are. which let me show you what that number was. Let me pull that bad boy up so you can see it, and it's going to blow you away. So here it is. That's the national debt clock, and as you can see, we're 30 trillion in debt, which means that per citizen, that's 90K. Everybody is in that is in debt. But if you look per taxpayer, it's almost $250,000. $250,000. All right. So again, as you can see, we are moving in very dangerous times. But the usdebtclock.org is an interesting site. You can find all kinds of information on there that you will, but that is the US debt clock. Most people don't care about it. It amazes me how people don't seem to care. They don't seem to care. They don't realize that they're selling their children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren into slavery by doing this. But anyways, exactly. America first, Patty, 100%. I agree with you 100%. This community agrees with you 100%. I have no trouble helping people all around the world when we're not 30 trillion in debt and when our foundations aren't crumbling as they are here. We have to be strong because God knows no one else is. If people used to say Australia was just like America. Australia is a mess. It's a socialist dictatorship now. If you look to Canada, it's a socialist dictator. I am so proud of the church. The church is going up there and supporting the truck drivers, and the religious leaders have been there, and they are trying to protect the truck drivers. They're being brutalized by the cops up there, and that could come here tomorrow, which is why we need to build bridges with the thin blue line now. Me being a former cop myself, what's north of the border could happen in our place really quickly. In fact, the Dems would throw the switch tomorrow if they thought they could get away with it. But the difference is our Second Amendment protects us. Our Second Amendment is what it protects us, which is why they fear it so much. They fear veterans and they fear the Second Amendment, which is why they basically call veterans now white supremacists and homegrown terrorists and all that stuff, because we swore to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic, and they know what they are, right? So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Michelle, as far as the president of Ukraine said, there is no invasion. I know there is none yet. They're talking about it coming. They've been talking about it coming for 3 weeks now. We'll see if it happens, and we'll go from there. Either way, I don't care. I don't care. I don't think we should be giving them aid. I don't believe we should be giving them any of our dollars. We're basically borrowing money from our grandchildren to give to Ukraine. Does that make sense to anyone? Does that make sense that we are borrowing money from our grandchildren to pay for illegal aliens, to fly them wherever they want to go in the country? I am not for that. And I don't think you are either. Now, if we had a 30 trillion surplus, I'd be willing to start helping people out. I'd be willing to help everyone out because we have a $30 trillion, we would have had a surplus. But borrowing, going into debt and selling yourself into slavery is not an option for people who could care less about you, right? Could care less about you. And, but the good news is as we talk about week in and week out, is that the tide is turning. America has woken up. Conservatives are engaged. The Dems are imploding because none of them are serious people in the first place. Their policies are 100% bankrupt. None of their ideas work, which is why they call us the ists and the isms. Because they can't win on ideas, they have to call us Nazis and white supremacists and racists and blah 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 and all those things, because they don't want to contend with our ideas, because our ideas win every time. Our ideas win, and that's why they silence us, and that's why they ban us and they shadow ban us and they do that. But the good news is that they are not serious, competent people. They are a mess, and liberal policies will never work. They never have worked. You know, COVID, for all it did, it definitely had a lot of benefits. A lot of benefits. Our schools are never going to be the same again. Homeschooling is becoming way more mainstream, where people used to look down at them. And again, my heart trembles for law enforcement. It trembles for law enforcement if they think they're going to do what the Canadian did to a bunch of sheep up there who were standing up, because that is not what's going to happen here. And I hope to dear Lord Jesus they have common sense, and I hope to dear Lord Jesus they don't become our enemies. Yeah, we need to teach a lot of things, Chip. We need to get back to, to what I learned back in when I was growing up. Even in Massachusetts, where I went to school, I learned, the revolution basically happened right there in Boston. So Paul Revere's house was there, John Adams, John Quincy Adams, on and on and on. It was very real, and they were taught, they were heroes to us. And now they're all called, terrible names, right? And we really need to get back to teaching history. And you're talking to somebody who's become a very big skeptic of history. As we've seen with the mainstream media, that isn't a new thing, right? History has been slanted by a lot of things. So I used to be so trusting of my government, and now when I look back, I second guess a lot of things. But yes, American history is what we need to be teaching. We need to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't care about your skin color, right? All I care is that, you're an American, right? And that you're an American first, right? When it comes to the flag. And, America is a Christian nation, and we need to turn back to God. And we know how we do that on this channel, right? You guys know what's coming. It's my mantra that I preach. We fix the men, we fix the families. By fixing the families, we fix the church. By fixing the church, we fix the community. By fixing the community, we fix the cities. By fixing the cities, we fix the states, which fixes the country, which fixes the world. But it all starts with you, with you, with you. We have to fix the families. We have to fix the families. And the number one problem with our families is our men. Our men are weak, selfish, fickle beings. So selfish. We need to pull our head out of our butt and go to work, which is all about what this ministry is about and what our church is about. And, there are plenty of women in church, right? There are not enough men. And that's the church's fault, because men follow competence. And the church today is anything but competent. Men follow clarity, which stems from competence. You cannot be competent and not be clear. How can you be clear when you have like 4,000 denominations? Men follow courage. When is the last time you shook a pastor's hand in strength? You shook a pastor's hand and they had calluses on their hand. When's the last time you met a pastor you actually wanted to be? That wasn't some dweeb. Men want to be inspired. That's what this whole movement is about. Women have been carrying us way too long. Evangelical women have been carrying us for way too long. Men need to become dangerous again. Men need to become independent again. Tell you, when I met Ken Graves, who's a pastor, for those of you who don't know, who's a pastor up in northern Maine, who's my mentor. He's the first pastor I ever met that I wanted to be. He was a muscular guy, tough guy, shook his hands, calluses, covered in scars, just like myself. He was never a military guy, he never was law enforcement, but he's a hard dude, right? And he's just like Superman. He can do it all, right? He's genetically gifted, but he's Superman when it comes to, and I don't mean like super athletic, even though he is, meaning like he can plumb, he's a carpenter, he's an electrician, he knows how to do stuff. His wife looks at him like Superman. He's the hero of his family. He's not calling someone to fix his dripping sink. He's not calling other people to do all this stuff for it. He's the hero of that family. And that's what we need to become again as men. It's why I'm doing the hanging this shiplap and becoming a carpenter. Those are all skills. Men should have some basic skills that they need. And I didn't have those. Men should know how to fight, because they have to teach their kids how to fight. Men should know how to shoot. They need to be able to defend their families and their communities. And most of all, men should know the Bible. Their family should look to them as their religious leaders. And unfortunately, that is not happening. Chip says, I'm trying to teach men to be men in my ministry. Awesome, Chip. That is, that's good to hear. We can't get enough of us because we are way behind the power curve. You got men playing freaking video games instead of learning how to be men. Men who want to play games that's permanent sprint mode so they can run everywhere when they don't run. Everything in society, since Adam and Eve were thrown out of the Garden of Eden, mankind has tried to build distractions to distract against the loss of not being in the Garden of Eden anymore and be separated from God. Now, we're lucky we have Jesus. But so many people could never even hear from God, even if he wanted to speak to them, because they're multitasking all the time and electronics are going. They're so busy. They're so busy. They're so busy. You know how God gets their attention? Heart attack, death of a family member, a tragedy, cancer. That's what stops them on a dime. That's great, Christopher. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have fun, and I'm not saying that that you want to play Call of Duty, whatever. That's fine. There's a time and a place for anything. What I'm saying is that nothing comes before God. period. Your time with God, he gets the best of your time. Then your wife gets the second best of your time. And then your kids, and then everything else. That is the order. Don't flip-flop them. Don't go, don't you dare go God, kids, or don't you dare go work, kids, wife, God. Everybody, and anybody who's had a real combative job, whether it be military, law enforcement, heck, even contractors, right? They're really rough on their bodies. When I mean contractors, carpenters, electricians, people who are up and down doing all that stuff, there's going to be there's going to be a price to pay with your bodies. Um, there's going to be a price to pay. Hopefully you, hopefully you're lucky enough to have it been for a just cause and something bigger than yourself, which feeding your family is bigger than yourself. But, having the honor of serving my country and then serving my city and then my county was my honor. It was my honor. The whole purpose of this mission, which evolved into a church, was to try to take everyone that wanted it and to turn them into competent, independent people so that they knew basic first aid, that they knew how to fight, that they knew how to shoot, and most of all, that they knew how to disciple in Jesus Christ. If you threw everything I said out the window and just focused on the Jesus part, you'd be great. You'd be great. You'd awesome. Everything else is gravy, but it's so important today, particularly with the weak beta male church is out there emasculating men, telling men that they can't defend themselves, misconstruing turn the other cheek to mean something else entirely. Turn the other cheek is not, was a slap, an insult. It wasn't, Jesus didn't say, hey, if he runs you through with a spear, let him run you through again. Or if he cuts off one arm, offer him the other arm. That's not what he said at all. Instead, it's a race to be more feminine. That's what our church is doing, making men feminine. And we wonder why. We wonder why men don't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. Took me 40-something years to find 47 years to find the church, the first church where I felt like I fit in. And that's something that I don't want anyone else to suffer through. My mission with Patriot Crusader Mission is for a church for veterans, first responders, and patriots, and administer to their needs. I've been to enough churches that cater to the college crowd, that talk about their biggest challenge being a tough roommate or studying for finals. Give me a freaking break. There are guys right now with a gun in their mouth. There are gals right now with a gun in their mouth or a noose around their neck. And we're talking about tough roommates in most churches. "99% of churches don't even know what to do with their former military veteran members or law enforcement. They know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And most of the church, let's be honest, they're straight quitters. They're all thinking the rapture is going to come sweep them up tomorrow. So why do anything today? Christopher, I need you to flesh that out more. The tenfold. I need you to understand that. So I can understand or endorse what you're saying or challenge it. Yes, exactly, Christopher. God, wife, kids, that order, because kids will leave to start their own families and you and the wife will be together to the end. Too many people and too many women put the kids above the marriage and they wonder why their marriage implodes. Too many men put their job before their marriage and they wonder why their marriage implodes. The Bible teaches us the proper order of everything. God first, husband or wife next, and everything else. I'm so excited for this next chapter of our journey here. I can't wait for our next forging. Having men and women around the country coming here to spend a weekend shooting, doing combatives, and most of all, spending time with God and other like-minded alpha individuals. Everyone always comes for the cool SEAL stuff, the shooting and the CQC and the combatives, but everyone leaves raving about what they learned and their relationship with God and how it's deepened. That's not very biblical, Christopher. That's what I was afraid of, right? That was what I was afraid of. So we must lead from the front, and we can and we can defend our families. But we just went over this in the Bible study in Genesis, where Dinah was raped, and Jacob. And then the guy wanted to marry her. And there's some debate whether she was raped or not, or whether they just had consensual sex or whatever. The language is pretty suggestive, but scholars are really up there. And Jacob's sons went and killed every man in the city. Now, I don't know how big a city was back then, but supposedly two of his sons killed everyone. So it couldn't have been them, all the men. So it couldn't have been that. And then they took everyone else into slavery. That is extremely heavy-handed, in my opinion, and I think out of the scope of what God wants for us. You are called to be a beacon of light. Now, defend your family with everything you have, and you got to do what you got to do to defend your family, and you can 100x that as far as I'm concerned. But we start getting into the vengeance business, it leads to a very dark place, and it's not with your Heavenly Father, that's for sure. So I caution you, even though I empathize with you on that. You basically want to be, in my opinion, when I die, I want to be known as a guy that people could come to when they had problems to help them. I want to be the guy that people could count on. When they were the most broken, I would hope they would come to me. And well, you've got some maturing in your walk, Christopher. With that, we are, again, when you say 10x, so if, somebody, accidentally kills one of your kids, you're going to kill 10 of their family members. I mean, when do you become a psycho with that? Right. I mean, it becomes pretty dark and twisted pretty soon. And then you're the furthest thing from a Christian at that point. So I caution you with that. even though that is what our carnal bodies want. Our carnal bodies want to do those things. The people who are the most godly, who the kingdom smiles on, are like the people who were in that church in, I want to say Charlotte, where that white guy walked in and killed a bunch of people in a prayer study. And they forgave him on the stand right there. How many people were blown away by how godly that woman was? Now, there was no chance that he was getting off. He was going to go to prison and justice was going to be served. Not defending them, exactly. I have no problem with defending. Defending is 100% what you're supposed to do. So again, I think we might be talking past each other here. The defending part, by all means, train everybody to be the strongest, most capable people that they possibly can. Teach them to be critical thinkers. Teach them to have situational awareness. Teach them how to defend themselves. Teach them how to do everything, and then, and then support them. That's all we can do, right? I mean, that's all we can do. So Sunday, I want to remind you guys a few things. Okay, no problem. Sunday, the streaming service will not have sound will not have sound until after the worship music is done. So at about 11:15 is when the message will start. So we've got our playlist up. It's public. It's called PCM Worship. There's 3 songs on there we're doing this weekend. One is What a Beautiful Name It Is. The next is God Bless America by Ronan Tynan, his version, the Irish tenor. It's just so beautiful. And then the last one is Cornerstone. And those are going to be we're going to finish with Cornerstone at the end. And then Zach Williams, No Longer Slaves. Are going to be the 3 songs we're going to do on the front. You can do that playlist from home. And if you started right at 11, you'll be right in sync with us and singing along. And then at 11:15, we'll go live. I'll do my sermon. And then I'll close out my message. We'll kill the feed. And we'll continue to worship for one more song here. And then it'll be fellowship time afterwards, where we reconfirm that everyone understood what we put out. I'm going to be giving tours of the property and reading everyone in on what we want to do here, what's going to go where, and all that, so people can get excited about their future church home. We are. It's not going to be on this wall. Chris, but on the opposite side, I have a red brick fireplace It's the back side of my fireplace. So it's a red brick wall with, the same wall behind me on either side. And I'm going to put a big chunky stained cross on that. And I'm going to teach in front of that from my high top bar table that I have there. That's really nice and heavy duty. That's what we're going to have there. We're also going to stain this, and I want to take it about 2 shades darker just to make the grains everything gets washed out right now. So I'm hoping that by putting some nice stain on there, nothing shiny, but a nice stain on there, it'll bring out the wood grain better. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm not a carpenter. And like I said, there's a lot of wasted wood out there from all the mistakes we had. But you know what? I learned a lot. And I can't wait to see what the rest of this is going to do. Putting it on the ceiling is going to be challenging, I'll tell you that, because all the high work was challenging. So I can't even imagine what the ceiling is going to be like. Who knows? Maybe we'll cheat and we'll just put some big faux beams across the top of the walls and then paint in between, so it's not all wood. But I don't know, something about an all wood background or an all wood room speaks to the man inside me. I don't know what it is when I walk into like a log cabin or an all wood rustic place. It's just awesome. I'd have to torch the whole house, man. You'd have to show me how to do that. But I think we're going to, I don't know, we're either going to do like a cedar stain on it, maybe to make it look a little reddish. But I got to look. I'm thinking 2 shades darker will make it pop. The torching is definitely something I like. Yeah, I just wonder how many things, how much I'd have to do that to make this really pop. I don't want to do walnut. I want to keep it light. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We're gonna take scrap wood and we're gonna do it. I might even show you guys and let you guys weigh in your opinion on it. But yeah. So as far as moving forward from here, um, once I get this structure, the sanctuary complete, it's going to be time to really start turning and burning and doing trainings here. We're going to be doing women's self-defense every month, maybe twice a month. We're going to be doing forgings at least once a month. We're going to be doing, you know, pistol one, rifle one, combatives one, where we go deeper into those things. We're going to be doing husband and wife clinics here. Father son, father daughter, mother son. We really got to start teaching men how to mentor. And then we create force multipliers, right? And the force multipliers are everything. We're also starting the farm aspect of this place. So within the next 30 days, we're going to start chickens. We've got a 12 chicken coop out there. We're going to start with that. And then we're going to see about getting grass-fed beef here. We got a string. We got basically one row of fencing to put in because everything else is fenced in. And we're going to start looking at some grass-fed cows. And then bees. It'll probably actually go chicken, bees, cows. And then, I want to do crops, but I just don't have the time and the machinery to do the crops. Whereas the other things don't really require much. I mean, we have a giant field. We have 15 acres of straight grass right now. And then it gets into some interesting terrain. So anybody out there who knows farming, I would love, especially animal husbandry. I could really pick your brain. And then my neighbor down the road is going to help me with the farming aspect of this. He can grow. He's been growing here forever. He's like fifth generation Tennessean. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think everyone out there who's got any type of grass in their yard should be turning it into a garden. With inflation going the way that it is, that or even, the lifted gardens you can have in your house. Save money where you can. Lauren and I, times are tight. I overreached to get this done big time. I didn't, it's when you start a construction project like this, it's real easy to let it get out of control. And of course it did, but I don't want to short the Lord, right? That's the last thing I want to do. So it got really pricey really fast. And so I'm like, listen, we need to eat until our freezer is bare. We've had way too much freezer burn meat. We have way too much freezer burn stuff. I don't care how healthy it is. I don't care what's in there. We're going to eat it all till it's gone. We'll buy the stuff we need, like the milk every week and fruit and veggies and all that stuff, and then we'll groom it. What do you have for animals, Christopher? I know you got some lamb. I mean, I'm excited, Don, to grow my own tomatoes, to, grow pumpkins, to, start canning and everything else. I mean, the thing that pissed me off is the state of Tennessee hired a bunch of Mexicans to come in there and clear some wires, and they destroyed, I kid you not, somewhere between probably about 100 blackberry bushes that we had infinite blackberries on, and now they're gone. I heard pigs are easy. I heard they are. And I don't think I'll fall in love with a pig or baby bee will fall in love with. I just heard they smell bad, and I don't know. We're definitely doing chickens, horses. If Lauren used to ride, I used to ride, and if baby bee wanted to ride, I'd be all about that. Um, they're just expensive. We have 3 dogs, and we can't wait for those to go away. That sounds terrible, but we have a yellow a mastiff, uh, a French mastiff, not a French, an English mastiff that just drools and sheds everywhere. And then we get a black lab that's crazy. And then we have our pet, and our pet is the lowest man. He doesn't shed, he doesn't do anything. He's awesome. So that's pretty much what we're going to do from here on out. But I'd love to hear, like everything I just put out within the next 6 months. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing in the 6 months. How are you growing in the 6 months? What are you doing to further the kingdom in the next 6 months? What are you doing to grow in your own faith? Who are you mentoring? How are you prepping? Is there any prepping you're doing that, maybe you'll inspire the rest of us to sit there and say, hey, maybe we should be doing that instead. I don't even know what a feist is. So mastiff and a boxer. Yep. I'm right there with you. Feist, I don't know what that is. But the next forging is most likely going to be in April when the weather turns. It'll be nice, and we'll be able to get some good weather for shooting and all that stuff. So it'll be the wet season. I don't know how wet April is. We got here at the end. I mean, we're almost here a year. We'll be here a year, the end of April, right? The end of April will be 1 year in Tennessee. Patty, they're very friendly. They're just loud. They're loud. They would have drooled and shed all over you. But they're very friendly. Too friendly, in my opinion. So our forging will be most likely middle of April. We're probably going to do another women's self-defense webinar online here really shortly. And then I have to look at the training schedule from there. I know a lot of you have wanted to come to the forging. I've got people who are, I don't want to say waitlisted, but they can't wait to come to the next one. We'll be very excited about that. But the other thing is remember this church, the church that we're doing here locally. We're going to be doing marches soon. Once the weather is dependable. Nice, Michelle. Nice. Yeah, Lauren and I have a black thumb, and we're gonna have to overcome that. You know, the kids and the dogs come up and get all up in our face and say, "Feed me." Plants don't do that; they can be forgotten about, and we're so overwhelmed with everything going on right now. Lauren, every time she'll grow something inside, and it'll be beautiful, it'll be amazing, and then she'll put it outside when the weather starts getting nice. because she wants to give it some outside time, right? And then it'll freeze and kill it. Literally every year that happens. Every year, Lauren kills some beautiful plant that she had been slaving over. Forgets about it, leaves it outside. It freezes and dies, and you can just see. Oh, my wife's awesome. Yeah, my wife's awesome. I'm so blessed for having her, and she's such a great sport. So we got to sink. I think about 150 yards of barbed wire fence, to do widthways in our field for the cows. And I got to figure out if they need a barn or if I can get a hardy type that maybe just a lean to, some cover will do. I don't know. I got to figure it out because again, I'm drinking from the fire hose, and right now everything I'm doing is I'm watching YouTube videos for carpentry right now. Patty, you don't have to be in shape to do the forging. You'll get more out of it if you're in shape, or it'll give you a snap assessment where you're at. But our job, we have extremely senior citizens that'll come through here, and they just do what they can and learn and just realize, okay, this is the current state of my body. If someone breaks into my home, this is what I have to work with. So, a lot of people who remember how they used to perform think they can perform that way today. And it's not true. And they haven't planned for it. I'd rather have somebody who has an accurate depiction of where they are and knows that they have to have a secondary weapon system on it, whether it be a pistol, a knife, or bear spray or whatever, right? Than somebody who doesn't know and thinks they're going to be able to fight and gets up and they hit like a wet noodle. Will do, Christopher. They have to get rid of a bunch. That surprises me. Yeah, that surprises me. But I need to figure out something to give them some shelter. I heard there's some like really cool cows from like Scotland or something that don't need anything that people do. Yep, that's right. You are moving forward, Patty. You know, you got to constantly be progressing. So, Michelle, what do you can? So, I mean, what do you can? Are you canning like strawberries, tomatoes, pears, apples? Like, what are you canning? Nice. I will reach out to them, Christopher. They're heavy as heck. I know that because I used to have the guys do PT with them, and they were way heavier than the ones we had in buds. They were so darn heavy; it was ridiculous. I wish I had them here now, though. We had about 6 of them. Awesome. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys, well, we're coming up on 54 minutes now, is it's time to break out your firearms and do some maintenance on them and figure out if you still want that firearm. Um, Firearms age out, and there are some really good ones, and yes, they work forever, but there's new technology coming along all the time. And, if you're still got a Gen 1 Glock, you might want to go to a Gen 5 Glock, right? You might want to go something that has a sight built in right from go, a red dot built in right from go, right? Technology progresses and weapon systems progress. And, you can sell your old firearms at an all-time high right now. It might be the time for you to just reassess where you're at and say, hey, do I have the guns I need? Which should be, I recommend 2 pistols that you should have. One that you can fit in your pocket or someplace, that is, a subcompact, that you can take with you everywhere. That's the smallest gun you have. I recommend a full size, like a Glock 17, 9 mil. I only recommend 9 mil. That's your bedside gun with your laser and your light on it, your red dot sight on it, whatever. It should have all, at least a laser and a light, or a light and a red dot, one or the other, but it should definitely have a light on it. Then you should start looking at your rifle platforms. You know, thank you, Patty. We really appreciate that. We just want to model the best thing out there. And I gotta confess to you guys, I've been exhausted and I have been worrying about my wife, and I've been, you know, trying to do a lot of the times I've been here trying to hang these boards, which is a 2 to 3 person job. And I'm trying to do it alone. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I repent. My mouth has been, I've been very angry. I've been very angry and frustrated, and I'm ashamed for it. I really am ashamed for it. And I need you guys to pray for me that I can that I can come back out of this darkness that I put myself in. You know that you nailed that. There's no reason to have a 1911 in a million years, unless you got like a ton of 45 ammo you need to burn. Um, so yeah, I really need your prayers because I've been angrier the past few weeks than I've ever been because we've been so sleep deprived. I've been watching my wife suffer. She puts on a good face. The baby's in pain. You know, and then this just mounting stress and everything else. And I give it to God, right? But it does add up. I mean, we are human. I'm not going to sit there and be the pastor that's going to lie to you and say that I'm perfect and that I don't do that. Um, I did something today and I had a bunch of expletives that came out and I had to instantly repent for it and I felt like garbage for it. But that's how you know you're a Christian. You felt bad for it. Whereas the old you would be like, ah, whatever. It's just words. But no, I felt bad for it and I've repented. So, Brandy, I would swap over from Patreon to um, the patriotcrusadermission.org just because that's tax deductible, whereas the Patreon is not. I I know, I know. Hey, Jim, good to see you, brother. And so here's the Jim.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
I know it'll pass. I'm just trying to say that I'm really been ashamed of the guy that I've become to when the stress is ratcheted all the way up and you're tired and you're exhausted and you're trying to do things that are, that you need help with and you can't find the help. It just gets very frustrating. And I'm not proud of how I handled that. I wish I could come to you with a story of victory and say that I was singing Jesus songs the whole time and and laughing, and when I cut a board and wasted another $30 in wood because I had to pull a bunch of boards off the wall. I wish I could have said that I wish I could have had a testimony of victory for you guys saying that, man, I've really overcome my former self, and was able to laugh it off and say, well, yeah, that one stung, but instead I didn't. And and that takes a toll on the people around you. When I walk in fuming and Lauren sees that, it's got to, I'm not helping her any by her seeing me stressed out, and I should be better. I should be better. And I want to be that example to you guys of when you're screwing up, acknowledging it, taking ownership of it, right? And then recognizing the effects it has. So my wife is going to feel bad because she's not out there helping me because she's dealing with the kids. And she's going to be stressed out because she sees me stressed out and everything else going on. And it's not helping anyone, right? So it really becomes destructive when you just have to let it go. Let it go. Learn from it, focus on the next step, right? If I just made a mistake, The next step is undo the mistake, redo it the right way. Slow down. Don't be in a rush. Do it right. Be deliberate. These are lessons that can save your life when you in a life and death situation that you learned by measuring twice and cutting once, right? Let go and let God, exactly. So, but anyways, I am ashamed of that, and I did want to confess that to you guys, and so that you guys could pray for me that you know I can get back to the me I was 2 months ago, and not the guy I've been since Baby Anya has totally blown up our world. Thank you, Jim. That means a lot. And I'll be praying for you, Christopher, when your new daughter is born in May. Having kids at 49 is not for the weak of heart, brother. Not for the weak of heart at all. It'd be different if she was like Baby B. Baby B was easy mode. And Baby Anya has been a challenge, but she'll be fine. And we'll all be laughing about this in the future. I just, Laura and I were just talking ourselves into a big family. Now I think if we're gonna have a big family, it's going to be adopting. And right now I want to adopt a work party. Can I adopt 16-year-old kids and we can get this whole place done really quick? Actually, 16's might be. I would only get them for 2 more years then, or whatever. Let's go for 12. And we'll have a work party here, and I'll have some people that I can work on and mentor, turn into great men at the same time, building this place up. So be it. There's the plan. Just kidding. Lauren, if she's still watching, jaw just hit the floor. Thank you, Michelle. I know I am. I just want to lead from the front, and I want to lead you guys in the right direction. And, I can't get up on Sunday and I can't get up on Sunday and preach the good word and not confess this to my Christian family, which is you guys, right? To get it off my chest, because I really want to be able to, that's a beautiful name. Thank you, Patty. And we appreciate you coming over and helping watch the kiddo tomorrow while Lauren is helping me clean this place out here, because it's going to be saws a buzzing and vacuums going and shop vacs and nail guns running and all that stuff in here. It's going to be a long day tomorrow with people stopping by, helping out where they can. But we're going to get there. I'm confident we're going to get there, and there we will have this service. And I don't know if we're going to have 10 people or 40 people show up, but I'm going to treasure every one of them, and I'm going to thank every one of them for believing in us and coming to our first sermon ever. And thank you, Patty. Well, we really appreciate that, and we're all in on you too. And I'm excited for what the Lord has for us all. And I can't wait to try to be the church that I always wanted to have. We're going to have our problems. Every church does. There is no perfect church. And but I hope to do way more good than the mistakes that we make. Steve, I really appreciate that. And Brandy, I appreciate that. Chuck! Oh, man.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. Strength and honor.
My brother Chuck, I can't wait to see you in Nashville in a few weeks. Can't wait to see you in Nashville. We got to go get a steak, you and I. The best steak in Nashville. That's what I want. The best steak in Nashville. And I hope to have a good time while I'm there. And it looks like I'm going to have more free time, Chuck, so we should be able to have a good time. I am, Christopher. I really am trying to become a student of the tradesman. I'll tell you what, YouTube is one of the most amazing things on the planet. Without it, there's no way I would have been able to change out outlets and do the things that I'm doing here. I didn't know how to do it. Now I can. And just becoming a knuckle dragon door kicker demolition medic dude, right? Meaning I can kill people really well and I can patch up people really well. Everything outside of that, not so much. I've acquired some other skills along the way, but um, and now learning to be independent of contractors and all those things. Now, the carriage doors, that's outside of my skill set. And I think I need somebody here to do that. And that's why that contractor's donating his time and he's going to help us with that. But now I'm going to start banging out projects. I mean, now that I've done this shiplap here, I mean, my whole house is going to start looking like that. Awesome, Christopher. Yeah, but your dad is like Johnny Tradesman, man. I mean, Paul Bosma is freaking epic. You're so lucky. My grandfather was like that, but I wasn't interested at the time, and he didn't really know how to deal with me. So I regret that every day that I didn't take up my grandfather's knowledge because he was so smart. I wish I had known how to do all the trade skills that he's done. Like the next thing I want to do when I have time for a hobby, whenever that is I want to make that log furniture. Like I want to make a log bed. I want to make a log dining room table. I want to make log chairs and the raw log stuff. I think it looks so good and it's so darn expensive. I mean, it's so expensive, and it can't be that hard. I mean, I watched a guy do it, and it didn't look that hard, and it just looks so cool. Black Forest Decor is a company I've been looking at. Everything's $1,000, right, or more, and it's literally just a bunch of logs that they run through these. They take a drill and they put an attachment on it, and it takes a 6-inch round log and turns it into a 3-inch round log. Or they'll take the ends and it'll keep the 6-inch round log and they'll cut it down to 3 so you can stick it in the holes, right? I mean, it's really cool stuff. And that's really what I want to get into. I'd love to have that. And I want a whole church. I want everything to look like that. I want the pews like that. I want everything because that's Tennessee. I want to be part of this country. And it's God. It's as close to the way God made it. I have a bunch of stuff that's on the ground, Patty. They logged this whole place. Unfortunately, we used to have enough wood on this property to do it, but they sold it all out from us. But that's what opened up that mountain on the back, and those logging roads up there is where we're going to be putting all of our log cabins. So if you guys don't know the overall plan for this place, I'd like to go over it. And I'm gonna pull it up on the map, and hopefully you guys can see it, and we can talk about it. And here we are. Man, Google is totally wrong where I'm at. But let me pull this up. Let me move it over here. And I want to show you guys. The map is so out of date. Oh my God, that all looks like, yeah, it's so out of date. But I'll show it to you anyways. Terrain, that doesn't work. I want to see if there's a hybrid map. They have a hybrid satellite. We'll just go with satellite. All right, I'm going to pull this up, and then we can talk. I can show you guys who've never been here what we're talking about. Okay, so you understand this is where my house is right here. This little blue spot up here. Okay, so you guys see that we're right on the road. This is the road. This is a dirt road that runs this part. This field right here is all mine. This is about 15 acres. I have 44 acres. This is like 15 of it right here. Okay. 15 acres. What we're going to do is this here I'm going to zoom in. So that's our home, right? This here is the gym. That's where, oh, sorry, this here is the gym. You can't tell, but that's a one-car garage there that we've converted into a gym. This here is a barn that we're using as storage that they used to keep their cows in. And then these here is just lean-tos and stuff that we have equipment under. What we want to do is we're going to take this and probably zip it from here to here. And this, I don't know, 5 acres here or so, it's probably 7. That'll be for the cows, right? This is going to be for the grass-fed cows right there. And then we can make an, have a second one here because they're going to eat through that and be able to rotate over here. Our chicken coop is actually already built and it's right here. And it's all penned in. It's nice. Currently down here, this is the gunge, and I own all, this is all cleared out to here. So they logged this. So I'm going to show you right now on this map, right? So my property is from here all the way through here, here, to here, to here, to here, over here, and up that line. So, so what we're thinking, and you can't really tell by this, but right now, if I pull up a terrain map, here you go. Here's the terrain map. So we have 3 hills on this property, right? We have basically 3 mounds on this property, and they are, let me see, you come down here, one here, one here, and one here. These 3 hills, right? This is the highest hill right here. And this is the hill we want to put the sanctuary on. It's got 360-degree mountain views of the Cherokee Forest, which is this green section over here. Or actually, Cherokee is right here, right? But as you zoom out, you can see we have, this is Buffalo Mountain there, which is right behind us. It's just amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. And so what we want to do is, I'm going to go back to satellite. What we want to do is make this, phase 2. Let's say we outgrown. Thanks, Patty. Let's say we outgrow this sanctuary here that can fit 30 comfortably. And then if the weather's bad, 30 comfortably, 40 packed. And we could probably fit 60 if we open up the canopy and use the driveway as well. Down here is where we would put a big white tent, Greg Lock style. We would use this as a parking lot right here because it's all level, and right here along the side, and we would make a big tent here, and we'd probably put porta potties here or here, and that's where we would do the service while we build back here. Back here, once we start doing this at altitude, up the hill and all that stuff, that's going to be big money. The tent will be big money, but it won't be huge money. We're not talking millions. We're talking tens of thousands for the tent and for the porta potty here. And we'll do that until we have a big enough congregation here locally and online. And then we'll do some fundraisers and we'll see what we can do up here. But it's going to be awesome. Some of the things we want to do to make money is the grass-fed beef to fund the church, the free-range chickens to fund the church, the farm produce to grow the church, the honey to grow the church. And then we want to build, we have a bunch up here, we have a bunch of trails that go up the mountain from the logging roads. And we're going to put log cabins, studio log cabins, 1-bedroom log cabins, and maybe some 2-bedroom log cabins in the beginning. And we're going to use those for Christian retreats. And then we're going to Airbnb them when we want to again use for funds for the church to continue to add on. And then, hopefully we'll have, somewhere between 10 and 16 cabins up there, and as we grow, we'll get bigger cabins and we'll save the higher ground, the nicer ground for the 3 and 4 and 5-bedroom cabins. Right. And then once we get that, we get the big sanctuary built up on the hill with with a wraparound deck and a professional kitchen, and then we can do some amazing, um, weddings and host, people here and things like that, so that we have a revenue machine that'll feed the church so that we're not dependent on people and we can give back more. That's what we're hoping to do. I really want to make Johnson City um, one of the most Christian places that it possibly a Christian conservative, stronghold. And I think we can. We start getting kids in here. We start mentoring kids where they learn good work ethic on the farm and building and doing stuff here. And we teach them how to shoot, how to fight, and how to study the Bible and how to be good men. And then they go out and they get great jobs out in the community. And then the businessmen start seeing, hey, guys who go through the Patriot Crusader mission program, they're great employees. They got their head on straight. They're really squared away. And then maybe we'll start getting some corporate sponsors and things like that. So I just wanted to pull back the curtain and show you guys what we were looking at here and what I'm hoping to do. There's more, but with a old, that shows all of our beautiful trees on there, which haven't been there for a while. That map is at least 3 years old because those trees have been gone that long, 2 to 3 years. So, but that's what we're looking at. I'm so excited for that. And again, this Sunday is the next phase of that. The cross was phase 1. The pavilion and fire pit was phase 1.5. And now the sanctuary will be phase 2. So and again, I want you guys to understand, if the weather's nice, we're going to be, and the roads are dry, we're going to be doing service up on the mountain under the pavilion, looking out at God's creation, at his beauty. And when it's not, we'll be here in the sanctuary. So, all right. I have babbled enough on tonight. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I love each and every one of you. And I'm so thankful I have you guys. And I can't wait to see you guys at Sunday at our new church. So God bless you. Well, let me pray us. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you for the gift of fellowship. Thank you for this gift of people here who come to Patriot Crusader Mission. Every time I turn on the camera, they are here waiting with arms wide open to lock shields on me. And I'm so appreciative of that. I'm appreciative to everyone here who's been calling this their home. I'm appreciative to everyone here who joins me for my daily Bible study where we pursue your truth and seek your face, Lord. Lord, I want to pray a blessing on them. And I want to pray a protection over them, Lord, that they would, and I want to pray that you would call to them, Lord, and speak clearly into their lives to let them know how they can serve you. Lord, I pray that you snatch them up by the collar and show them exactly where you want them so they know how to serve and please you, Lord. Lord, I also pray a prayer of protection for our troops overseas, our first responders at home, and patriots around the world, including in Canada, Australia, and here at home. I also pray a prayer of peace for their families. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless you. I'll see you on Sunday. And I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye. Michelle, I'm aware of Greg Locke. I don't know if I feel kind of bad going out there with a hand out, but maybe we'll see what he says in the future. I'd definitely be open to accepting his help. That's for sure. So God bless you.